sure my sound is off on my phone.
Kara and I were just talking about how we are both have a fear of birds flying into our airplanes. Further proving that we are the same human being.
The same human. What are we doing today?
Well, hi.
Hey, it's guys, we're recording on a Monday, and it literally for the both of us has been a Monday of a Monday.
Yeah.
So we don't know what
It's
to do
also
with our
just
lives.
strange to be here on Monday because, as you all know, we usually record on Wednesdays.
Go
Although
up
we're
on-
changing it.
Yeah, are we going to survive this
I don't
change?
know. I feel like we'll get through it at some point. Anyway, but you're seeing this on Friday.
Or whatever day you're actually seeing this on.
Happy day.
Happy day to you.
This is the Witch's
happy
Magic.
day.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.
I'm Kara.
I'm Megan. Did I already say Witch's Magic Murder
I don't
Mystery
think I let you finish. I
Podcast?
started singing.
Here we are. It's New Year's Eve. Happy Happy New Year's Eve.
Happy
There's a
birthday to 2022.
Also, it's my brother's birthday. So
Good. Okay.
it's
Happy
not
birthday,
completely
brother.
insane. Happy birthday, Justin.
We
I don't think he
love
listens
you.
or watches, but you're the best big brother.
You are.
I've told many a story about him on the podcast.
Yes.
Of how he's a great big brother.
He really is.
Yeah. So, although it may have just been on Patreon episodes now that I think about it. But
He's
either
like,
way,
he's my honorary big brother now.
yeah. It's, I'm happy that you were born. Happy that you're my brother.
We love your face.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
My mom really loved giving birth on holidays. She had
Oh,
me on
she
Halloween
did.
and him on New Year's Eve. I know, it's
She got
strange.
real festive with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's New Year's Eve.
Yes.
And that always has me thinking about fresh starts and cleansing and manifesting and
Yeah.
all of that.
Starting new.
So I thought we would do a little different type of an episode than what we usually do.
Megan and I have choreographed a dance.
Yes. It's time, you guys. It's time. We are releasing our album, our witchy Christmas album, except
Our OnlyFans of, what was it?
But we're great at this. So if this is the first time you're listening to the podcast, this is different from usual.
Yes.
Because what I wanted to do, we're going to do a little magic episode, but it's a little bit of a departure from our usual stuff.
Right.
But I figure a holiday is a good time.
But you all love us for who we are, and this is all a part of Megan and I and like the outside of the podcast. So we kind of wanted to just bring it in real quick.
Yes. I mean, it is called Witches, Magic, Murder, and Mystery.
Right.
And I think I'd like to this year bring in more witchy magic stuff. I do love our witch stories as they are. But the new year,
New year, new us. New
Yeah.
you, new
whatever.
everything.
New year, same me, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, the New Year's always a big thing for me. I'm going to put this.
So you don't spill it. Here. Would you like your top?
Oh, that's a good idea.
When you not
You have the
drink it.
best ideas.
Like flying planes into birds.
Like this podcast.
Because I love you and we're doing it.
I know. Okay. I'm trying to get to my thing here. Okay. So New Year's is always a big thing for me. I really love the idea of a fresh start.
Yeah.
Although I have to be careful to not feel like the New Year is the only time I can have a fresh start.
Right.
I'm
like
really
that's,
bad
if you
about
don't
that.
jumpstart it, then it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's always such really good energy and stuff around the new year. And everybody has this momentum of like all these things they're going to do.
Yeah.
So, I like to take the time to like sit down and think like, where am I? And like, where do I want to be?
Yep.
And what should I focus on to get there?
Yeah.
I don't generally like to make resolutions. If you like knew me before the podcast, if you followed me before the podcast, then you know that like usually my thing is to have a word for the year.
Yes.
Instead of a resolution. And then that word is sort of like kind of guides me through the year.
Yeah.
My best one ever, and you're all welcome to steal it. It was a couple years ago. I did the word go. That's actually the year I met you.
Yep.
And so many great things happened that year because it was a matter of, I didn't say,
Going and doing.
yeah, I said yes to many, many more things than I normally would have. Because it was
Outside of
just
her
like,
comfort zone.
yeah. I was like, just go do this, go do that. And it was great. It really led to so many good things, including meeting Kara. So In case you want to steal that word, feel free.
Do it. Go and do it.
So, all right, let's see. Let me get down to where. Okay. So I'm really big on the whole thing of like taking the time to stop and like evaluate.
Yeah.
Because I lived a really big portion of my life just following the rules.
Same.
And doing what was expected of me.
Yep.
And basically living the life that I thought everyone else wanted me to live.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault. Like,
no,
it's not
no,
like
no.
anyone, I didn't have controlling parents. I didn't, nothing like that. That's just who I was. Like, I was just like,
that's your comfort bubble.
Yeah. I want to make everybody proud of me. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to do what I think everybody wants, you know? I never really stopped to think about what I wanted. So I specifically remember this assignment I had my freshman year of college. Mm-hmm. We had to read this article by this American philosopher. Her name's Martha Nussbaum. And I looked her up because I was trying to remember the name of the article. I think it had the word scholar in it, but I can't find it. But she's still cranking out all kinds of articles.
Oh, yeah.
And she's awesome. Mm-hmm. So just put on your to-do list for this year to read our articles by Martha Nussbaum. I'll put her name in the show notes so that you can spell it. I would obviously not be able to say it correctly if I hadn't studied her in class. Yeah. Had someone else teach that to me. Teach it to me. That assignment, reading that article, made me stop for like the first time ever. And I was like, do I believe the things I believe because I actually believe them? Or do I believe them because I've been like someone told me to? And it was really like, it sounds, I feel like a little bit simple now. But I'm telling you, at the time, it was life-changing. Oh, yeah. I was just like, oh. Yeah. I had never stopped to think about that at all. So anyway, I was living on autopilot, letting the people around me decide my life for me. Yeah. And so it's really, really important to me to not ever do that again. So now I make it a point to like stop and think about what I want. So one thing I had in here is I wanted everyone to be proud of me. So like what they wanted for me is what I wanted for me. Right. But that's not a way to live. No, not at all. And then the thing is, if you're doing that and you stop and you start living how you want to, people are going to be fine with it. Like chances are they're just going to love you.
Well, and the people that aren't are just the people that were feeding off of their control over you.
Yeah. It makes it real clear who needs to be out of your life. Yep. My stomach's growling. So we're all just going to acknowledge it.
Yeah, it happens. Mine probably will as well.
I had gluten. I made sourdough bread.
This is so good.
It's good.
So good.
So why do I do this to myself? Now, sourdough, if you have gluten issues, sourdough is a little bit easier on you because the gluten's a little more processed through the fermentation process or something like that. Mm-hmm. But it's still not great. If
your body still hates it.
My stomach is like, what were you thinking?
Why are we sitting here?
It's really, I don't even have to eat it is the thing. The process of making the sourdough bread just makes me happy.
I just got
to find people to give it to. Yeah. I should bring you some.
You should.
Okay. So all that to say, don't live on
olive oil.
Don't live on olive oil.
Actually, no, it's pretty good for you. You could.
I was trying to think of what you should live on instead, and I can't come up with a joke.
Reese's
Christmas trees. I already had one. Remember that box we got last week?
Oh, yeah. Halfway through it.
So don't live on autopilot.
Yes.
We're going to fall in and out of cycles where we do that, of course. That's natural.
Right.
Like, we get up, we take care of ourselves or our kids.
Habits.
Pets, spouses, whatever. Come home, do whatever we got to do to make our lives run smoothly. Then we go to bed and then we get up and do it again the next day. Like it's normal to fall into those routines. Yes. But it's not like every single day has to be revolutionary or whatever, but we get one life. So to me, it's really important to stop now and then and just look around and be like, am I living the life that I want to?
Yeah.
So the new year is a great time to do that. That was my very long introduction about how the new year is a good time to stop and set goals, which is a hot take you've never been told
it's not like you're trying to be like, oh, I have to do this next year, but you're also just looking over the last year that you have and saying, okay, well, what do I want to continue? What do I want to change? What do I want to grow? What do I want to manifest?
And it's, prioritizing yourself just for a day. Mm-hmm. Stop and look and make sure you're happy.
Yeah.
And if you're not, what can you do to be happy?
Because your mental health is so very important.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be big, huge, extravagant steps. It can be little things, Yeah. So if you're someone who listens to this podcast strictly for the true crime content and you think this witchy stuff is a little too like out there for you, let's talk for a few minutes about how some of the common New Year's traditions are rooted in magic. Mm-hmm. So we eat black-eyed peas because it's supposed to bring good luck and prosperity in the new year. Do you know why?
Why, Megan?
Because there are two physical properties of dried black-eyed peas, which are generally easier to find this time of year, that symbolize good things to come. The promise of germination when planted, and increasing significantly in size when cooked. So it's just a spell, you guys.
Yeah.
And cabbage, we eat cabbage because it's green and it resembles cash or prosperity. It's like a spell. Even the practice of making New Year's resolutions dates back 4,000 years to when the Babylonians made promises to the gods in hopes that they would earn good favor in the coming year. Oh. They'd be like, a lot of their promises had to do with getting out of debt, which I think is like, 4,000 years ago even, everybody was still stressed about it.
Yeah, okay, we're still here. Okay, great. Stressing about money.
I mean, that's what we do.
That's fine.
Okay, so before we get too far into this, for me, are we still recording? Great. Just want to make sure.
I see things moving around on here.
Okay. One of the most important things about getting into like your spiritual side of things is to let go of the idea that there are really rigid rules that you have to follow. Because instead you need to focus more on trusting yourself and trusting your feelings.
Right.
It's all about being connected to like the energy around you.
Yeah.
And for some of us, that's easier than others. Obviously.
Some people are like, oh, can they not read a room? Well, I mean, that's kind of like reading a room.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's something I'll talk a lot about, but like you have to be able to trust yourself enough to operate by feelings rather than by rules.
Right.
And there's two really easy examples. One of them is sourdough bread and also houseplants. So you can go online and read a million different articles like, here's how to care for your houseplants.
Right.
And here's how to make the best sourdough starter ever. And I did that. I read all of those things. I followed all those rules. And then my houseplants died and my sourdough starter never would take off like it should. So I gave up. Everything died. And I gave up. So when I tried it again, I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about the rules.
Right.
I'm just going to look at these plants and be like, what do they need?
Yeah.
Does this one need water? No, this one does, instead of being like, you have to water
every 5 days.
Yeah. And then the sourdough starter is the same way. Like look at it and be like, I think it needs some of this. Yeah. And when you start, I mean, those are just they sound like such silly little examples, but it's a really good way to like just practice the whole idea of like looking at something, making a judgment call and trusting what you came up with. Yeah. And then seeing that it works out,
right?
And it's better. So that's another reason why I have sourdough bread on the brain. Okay. So do that with your life too. I have sourdough crumbs on my,
that's amazing.
Okay. Do that with your life too. Don't follow rules set by society. Yeah. That's just another way of living on autopilot.
Well, and also like, safety rules and stuff like that.
I mean, there are some basic rules.
Yeah.
Right?
You need
like,
to follow, but also like who came up with some of these
There's
rules?
a true crime message. Don't kill people.
Don't kill people.
Now we're right back in our normal content.
Yeah. But it's just like, think about that rule. Like that may be good for one person, but it's not good for you.
Yeah. You don't want to live your life just doing what other people think is best.
Right.
Like you have your own brain and your own thoughts and feelings and emotions and needs. Yeah. So what do you want to do? So look at yourself, figure out how you want to live. We're all different. Even with this episode, the things that are important to me and helpful to me might not be as meaningful to you.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
The point is just take some time to really stop and look and ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So first, let's talk about where we are.
Yes.
Right now, here in the United States, we're in the middle of winter, although
it's 60 degrees.
It is 60 degrees. What is happening? It is December 27th, except when you're hearing it's December 31st, and I don't know what the weather's going to be.
Yeah, it could be rainy.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. But normally, Kentucky winter is cold, gray, not anything great. I had this great book. I think you got it for me. It's called The Green Witch.
Yes.
Did you get that for me? Okay. I was like, did I get it for you or did you get it for me?
I got it. And you were like, oh my gosh, I need that. So I got you one.
I loved it so much. So I'm going to put all the books in the show notes. They'll be in sources, by the way. You should just buy all of them. They're great.
Yeah, they're amazing. I found most of them on Amazon.
Yeah. So the Green Witch, that book, it talks about the natural cycle of things in terms of seasonal tides. So this tide that we're in right now is called the cleansing tide, and it started with the winter solstice on around December 21st.
Yep.
And it'll last until the spring equinox on March 20th.
Thanks, Persephone.
Yes. So winter has begun, and we're just waiting for spring. I have another beautiful book called The Seasonal Soul, which I think Brittany recommended. Brittany is Lionhive _
Yep.
on Instagram.
She's
and
amazing.
She is the
Talk about a
absolute
body
best.
of a goddess.
Oh my
like,
God.
just go creep.
And she just knows, she is such a wealth of information when it comes to all things witchy and spiritual.
Yeah.
So if you aren't following her already, because we've mentioned her a few times, you should look her up.
Do it.
So the seasonal soul, it goes through the seasons too, but it makes this point about how sometimes a season is more of a mental space rather than what's physically going on outside. So it's more metaphorical. But for the sake of this episode, we're kind of going to talk about both because the new year for a lot of us happens to take place during the winter. So in the seasonal soul, it talks about how winter is tough. Outside, it's like the days, there's a window over there in case you're like, what's she doing?
Yeah. Why is she pointing at the thing over here?
The days are shorter and darker. There's nothing blooming. It can all be a little depressing.
Yeah. The plants kind of go dormant for a bit.
Yeah. And then there's the inner winter when it's like we feel like we're in a slump.
Like
and
literal autopilot.
Yes. And this is why Brittany recommended this book to me, because I was just kind of talking to her. I think I had her do a card pull for me because I was trying to figure out, like, I just feel like,
like what's going on?
Yeah. I'm down and I
remember this conversation
and I can't do anything, you know? And one of the conversations Brittany had with me, she was like, Megan, like, you can't have this like up cycle all the time. You can't always be producing. You can't always be creative.
Right. You got to rejuvenate.
You have to rest at some point. And so if you can recognize the winter as a good time to rest rather than some sort of failure on your part because you're not producing 24/7.
Think about everything that you went through that year leading up to that moment.
Yeah. Like celebrate what you've accomplished and like
grow from what you didn't.
Congratulate yourself on getting this far. And then rest knowing that that time is going to come again where you're going to be right back up there.
Yeah.
So from that book, here's a quote. It says, winter is a period of time when any aspect of your life, your work life, love life, social life, parenting, creativity, all these elements enters a period of retreat, retraction, and stillness. So like I said, we can't be on all the time.
Yeah.
But when we're not, we have a tendency to feel like something must be wrong.
Right.
And if you're like me, you have a hard time with this resting period.
Yeah.
I like to be productive. It makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah. I always have to have something to do.
Yeah. It's like, here's what I'm not wasting my, Kara, every idea she has, she does it, which is awesome.
Fail or not.
When I didn't even know you very well, I remember telling somebody about that. I was just like, yeah, Kara, like she will have an idea and she'll do it. Where like, I'll have ideas and it'll just kind of be out there.
Well, that's the thing. Like I don't remember what it's called, but like if you think of an idea and you sit there and think on it long enough, somebody else is going to take that idea because you've just transferred that information and that idea to them.
I think big magic is part of that whole thing of ideas being like in the world and people get them at one point or another. So when I enter into a season where I'm not as productive, I don't have as much energy, I don't have as many ideas, I don't have a lot to show for my time.
Yeah.
It's unsettling because I start to wonder, am I ever going to be back to normal again?
Can I get out of this?
Yeah. And if you're a creative person, then you know, like this is a time when you have like imposter syndrome, lots of creative blocks and self-doubt.
Struggle journaling.
Yeah. I mean, can't write a word. I've been there. Trust me. So here's what you have to remember. Winter, whether it's the physical or mental season we're talking about, is temporary and it's necessary. When you're struggling, it can be hard to remember that this rest time is a good thing. And this goes along with the cleansing tide discussed in the Green Witch book. Give yourself permission to enjoy the break and not worry about your output. This downtime does have a purpose. It's a time for self-reflection and analysis, which is perfect again for the new year.
Yes.
Winter, this is a quote again, winter is the birthplace of transformation, evolution, and revolution. So don't get so stuck in the struggle that you forget to appreciate the downtime.
Right.
I know in the past I've been so focused on trying to rush through it and get back to normal and try to like push things.
Yeah.
And I'm so focused on why can't I accomplish anything right now When what I should be focusing on is like, okay, I'm being forced to stop and think rather than mindlessly trudging forward. It stops the autopilot cycle,
Right.
you know? So this isn't wasted time. This is time to check in and realign.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we might do that. The Green Witch has this seasonal meditation in it. It's like a baseline meditation, and it has different variations to add depending on what season we're in. Meditation is this really great way to clear your mind of all the clutter and just relax. It helps you see what you really need to be focused on, and it helps you connect with the world around you.
Right.
Do you meditate? Mm-hmm. I do not. I'm sitting here talking about it, and I want to be very clear. It's not something I'm good at. I've tried. I just don't. It's not something that comes naturally to me. I really have to try.
Yeah.
When you ask me to clear my mind, it's like I'm a little kid. It's like, clear your mind. And all of a sudden I'm like, I can't clear my mind. My mind's like, can't do anything. Words, here's every random word I've ever thought of. And here's the song lyrics to every single 90s rap song.
Yep.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
I always just like, I'll take a bubble bath like twice a week. And that's when I just like sit there and clear my mind.
Oh, well, I put that in here. Oh. So that's great. So if you've never meditated and you try and you fail, don't give up.
Right. There's all the options.
Yeah. And my friend Amanda once told me that you can even start meditating for just 1 minute and then gradually add more and more.
Yeah.
And there's also apps like Calm or Headspace or Unplug, or there's more you can look
I think even on Audible, they've got certain like sounds that will help you. And it's like on their free whatever.
Oh, yeah? Spotify, I think, does too. And so those apps kind of help guide you through a meditation. If, I think for some of us, especially if you're new to it, it would be helpful to have someone kind of help you through it rather than you just sit there and be like, is this working?
And even like just teaching you to like breathe through your core and like do all that stuff. So you're focusing more on like what's going on inside of you.
So much of it is just focusing on your breathing. Like that's it. In and out. And it's like, inhale this, exhale that.
And it's crazy, like what kind of thoughts come into your mind at that point once you've cleared your headspace.
And that's why it's such a good thing to do when you are sitting down to set your intentions for the year. Is to like clear your mind of all the clutter. Make sure you're getting to like, here's what really matters to you. Cut past all the stuff that feels like a thing you have to do. Yeah. So take as much time as you feel capable of and meditate.
Yeah.
This clears your mind and gets your head in the right place for setting your intentions for the new year. Another idea is take a nice long bath.
Yep.
And
Lush has perfect bubble baths.
Yes.
Or what is our lady's name that makes the soap? Beach Witch bars?
So, yes.
Yes. Her soap's good
Kara got me some of those for Christmas too, and they're perfect. But yeah, you're literally cleansing. So take a nice long bath. And if you're into crystals, here are some good ones for this. So for cleansing and harnessing your energy, smoky quartz, clear quartz, or rose quartz. Connection to self and purpose, labradorite, amethyst, aventurine, clear quartz, and carnelian. For healing, forgiveness, and self-acceptance, rose quartz, clear calcite, turquoise, moss agate, and mook jasper.
I love jasper.
I'm sure I pronounced everything right.
I don't know. I think Ava stole it, but the one that has like the ball, the sphere that we have.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I love that one.
Or you can also use any other crystals that are particularly
that you feel
to you.
Yeah, the ones you feel drawn to. Just go, I don't know, to a legitimate store.
Yeah, here if you're in Lexington, Creatures of Whim and also White Willow.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Just go feel around, like see what you're drawn to, and then look up the meaning, and that's usually what you need.
Yeah, at Creatures of Whim, she has little sheets of paper that have like, here's what this is and here's what it's good for, and I love that. So you can set the crystals around the bath or even in the bath.
Yep, that's what I do.
Light some candles, relax, clear your mind. Just the whole point is just to get yourself relaxed and ready for this. Yep. Here's another quote from that book. Winter is the door to your next creative adventure, holding the potential and power to richly build upon your existing structure or alter your course and direction forever. Okay, so now you're relaxed and you're ready. You're committed to being fully present for this exercise.
Right.
This is time that you're taking all for yourself, and that is okay. You're allowed to put yourself first here.
Yes.
And focus on you. Okay.
No guilt whatsoever.
You're worrying about what you want, what you need. So if you like tarot or oracle cards, you can go on Pinterest and there you can find a whole bunch of New Year tarot spreads. And that's like one of my favorite things. There's one in particular that I've done the last 2 years, which I can put on our Instagram for you guys, like in our stories. Tarot cards, for me, they help me organize my thoughts. a lot of the spreads are going to be like, here's last year, and then here's what to expect for the upcoming year. And it helps me to take the time to work through the spread and just really think about it.
Yeah.
So for me, tarot would be my first step after getting my like mind relaxed and ready.
Yeah.
So if you're a Patreon subscriber, I put up a blog post today with a bunch of different ideas of things you can do to mark the new year with a little witchiness. And it has some tarot spreads included there. It's available for all Patreon levels. So if you really want to dig into this and try some different things, go there. I try to put in a variety of ideas, just a little something for everyone.
Yeah.
But here in this episode, I'm just going to go through this manifestation ritual. So first off, if you go through all this and you're still like, I have no idea.
I'm so what my goals are.
Still. Yeah. No idea. So here's what you can do. You're going to write a letter to the universe. If this is a brand new type of thing to you, you might feel a little silly about this. So just keep in mind.
You can even do bullet points.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be some amazing work of art. No one's going to read it except you.
Right.
And so like, if you can't relax with yourself and be vulnerable with yourself, then who can you be vulnerable with? You know?
Right.
So put a date at the top and literally start with Dear Universe. This practice comes from that seasonal soul book that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So the point here is to release all of your fears and negativity. Yeah. So that's usually what keeps you, I think, from setting intentions because you're afraid to admit what you want.
You have too many boundaries that you're not even aware of.
Yeah. You think you're afraid of failing. Like if I set a goal, what happens if I don't reach it?
Right.
Or you just think it's all pointless because, you know, you don't put yourself first enough. It's important to prioritize yourself. One life, remember? One life. So start your letter by describing where you are right now. Really own your feelings, even if they're uncomfortable. No one's going to read this but you. Let it all out. And then next talk about what your fears and worries are. What are they? Why are you worried or concerned? Don't censor yourself. Be honest, even if it's a little scary to put on paper. You're not writing all this down to like complain. The point is to get it out so you're no longer burdened with it.
Right. Yeah.
So
you're not carrying that anymore.
Keep the energy in your head that's like, I'm writing this all down so that I can do something about it. Not just to dwell on it and be depressed.
Right.
So you get through all that and then tell the universe what you want. So picture yourself living the life you want. Pretend that you're standing outside of a gate. And on the other side of the gate is the reality where you have everything you want.
Yep.
Including owning the story you've lived so far. So we're not asking you to live in some pretend world where you've been perfect your whole life.
Yeah, don't make something up.
But be like, okay, I am who I am. I'm going to take all of this with me through that gate and have this reality. What does it look like?
What am I going
What does it feel like?
Yeah, bring it to it.
So write it all down as if you're living that life right now. Here's how I feel. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what it looks like. And that's it. Like you're done. That's all you need to do is write that all down. And then you've taken the time to focus on where you are and where you want to be. Now relax and keep your mind open to signs and opportunities. You can keep this letter for yourself, or if you want, you can get a white candle and burn it because white is supposed to symbolize like the new year.
Yep.
So there's that. So now, if you don't need to do that because you are ready to set some specific goals, you kind of already know what you want to do. Here's another little thing.
Let her tell you.
So start by burning away all the built up negativity from 2021, which is going to take a long time.
That's a lot of it.
So much. You can do this with any fire. It can be a candle, a bonfire, your fireplace, whatever.
Yeah.
Write down whatever you want to be rid of, like a painful subject or a feeling, a bad habit, an ex, whatever, and throw it in the fire. If you want to be extra witchy with it, getting witchy with it. I never noticed that stuff till I read it out loud.
I know.
I'm like, look at that.
Look what I just did
Getting
here.
witchy with it. Write it on a leaf, even a bay leaf.
I love doing that.
And then burn the leaves. It does. You feel all like, you know.
Yep.
Woo. Then light some sage or incense. Like right now, you've just burned away all that negativity. So then you kind of need to cleanse the negative energy. So light some sage or incense or whatever you like to use to cleanse with. It's called smudging for those of you who may not be familiar with it.
Right.
And it's an ancient practice first used by indigenous people, those who worked and lived on the land and who were in tune with their earthy and spiritual roots, used special plants and herbs to purify the air and cleanse themselves of negative energy.
Yep.
And sage is most commonly used. You can even buy sage bundles or smudging bundles on Amazon. So,
Yeah.
if you need help setting your intentions, Shoot, I meant to look up how to say her name. I feel like that comes out of my mouth almost every episode. Shoot, I meant to look this up.
This name.
Danielle Laporte. But there's an E on the end. Laporte, possibly. Some of you are probably going to know who she is.
Yep.
She wrote a book called The Desire Map, A Guide to Creating Goals with Soul. I've had it for years. My friend Kelsey recommended it, and I love it. In the book, she makes the point that when you set a goal, you need to tie that goal to a feeling. So instead of being like, here's my goal, and hopefully whenever I reach it, I'm going to be happy.
Right.
That's backwards. Instead, be like, here's how I want to feel.
Yeah.
What can I do to get that feeling?
Yeah.
And this is why I like a word for the year, because you can make that word a feeling.
Right.
And
Exactly.
then sort of shape your year around it.
And you can have that feeling multiple times throughout that year.
So for me, a really easy example of this is exercise, which I know is like a common goal at the beginning of the new year. When I think I want to exercise to lose weight and that will make me happy, it never does. I mean, it never works the way you think it will. And you're tying your happiness to something you have no control over. Weight fluctuates for any number of reasons. But if I think I want to feel better, I want to feel happier or whatever, how can I do that? In the words of the great Elle Woods, exercise releases endorphins, and endorphins make you happy. And happy people just don't shoot their husbands. So tying exercise to a feeling rather than a physical outcome makes me feel successful right away. When I think about it, like, gosh, my head feels better.
Right.
When I regularly work
feel
out.
less foggy. Did you watch that special with Adele and Oprah?
No.
Oprah asked
I've heard so many good things about this, though.
About her weight loss. And she said, listen, like Oprah was like, you have so many people looking up to you. Like, what do you want to tell them? And she said, I want them to she said, I'm not meaning like ill will towards anybody, but this is me. This is my thing. I don't want them to make my weight loss like their goal, their journey. She said, I did this for my mental health. I did it because it makes me feel good. The gym is my release. And that's how I got here. I don't care if I'm heavier. I don't care if I'm skinnier. If I'm feeling good about it, that's all that matters. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Because the thing is, if you do it just to lose weight and you're like,
It's not going to work.
constantly weighing yourself and you're not losing weight, well, then you stop exercising.
Right.
It's just frustrating. Or you start beating yourself up over it. And it's ridiculous. So instead, if you want to exercise, make sure it's because you want to feel good.
Right.
Because you get those endorphins.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real thing, you guys.
It is. I'm a runner.
Science.
Megan doesn't like running, but I'm a runner, and that is my thing. Like, I can run for miles just clearing my head.
I don't believe that runner's high exists.
It does. It really does. But then your lungs start bleeding when you haven't ran in a while. So that's
I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but like I literally, I'm like, I think there's something structurally wrong with my lungs. Like, I think that
they're going to collapse.
other people can run. I just can't. And I
just can't hold the
there's
breath
something
in
wrong
there.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't do it.
So
I just love you.
I could do it if it just wasn't for my lungs. You
The
guys.
lungs are just still break down.
You all don't know. They're going to study me one day. So one thing you could do is think, okay, how do I want to feel this year?
Yeah.
Accomplished, balanced, peaceful, adventurous, free, joyful, whatever. And then what can I do to feel that way?
Right.
So the whole point is feeling good is the primary intention. If you're making goals that just make you feel bad about yourself, let's rework them. This is something you could even do daily or weekly. Like, what can I do to feel joyful tomorrow? Like, what's one thing I can do that will make me feel joyful? What's one thing I can do that will make me feel accomplished? You know what I mean? Like, do something like that rather than setting like a negative goal for yourself. So we'll talk about that next is to use positive language. You're going to write down what your intentions are and how you frame it. Like, the words matter. Framing your goals in positive words creates positive energy rather than resentment or feelings of deprivation. So there's a difference between focusing on achieving a thing versus focusing on not failing at a thing, you know? So a positive goal focuses on what you will do instead of what you won't do. So like, I'll drink more water rather than I'm going to stop drinking soda. You know? So just look at the wording. If there's anything that's like less or never or not, like, take out the negative words and figure out a way to rework it so it's saying something positive. You're setting yourself up for success. Because then you get to be proud of yourself. Yes. You're going to be successful. So once you've written down your goals, and I would be like, no more than 5.
No,
Even 5 might be too much. It depends
Because that's going to get stressful.
what the goals are. Right. And again, you want to be successful. And also, you can make like, here's a goal for the first part of the year. And then once that's feel good in that, let's set another one. You don't have to like plan out your whole year right now. So once you've written these all down, make a copy so that you'll have it. And they'll help you visualize your intentions. And then for the little papers that you wrote them all on, burn the papers and send that energy into the universe. And that's it. So you relax and celebrate the year you've just made it through and express some gratitude for what's to come. And congratulate yourself for listening to this podcast because you're smart and you make great choices.
Just made so many good decisions.
So that's all. So I just wanted to give you guys something like, this is the kind of thing that I like to do at the beginning of the year. If you can't do it on New Year's Eve or January 1st, like it's fine. It's not like you have to like, well, I missed my chance.
That's
do
the
it
thing.
anytime.
Like New Year's resolutions, like just make it a resolution for yourself. Like it's not.
It does. I think it's been proven that to help you like reach goals, it would be a good idea to tell somebody. I think in the Facebook group, we should maybe start a thread that's like, hey, if you want to share some intentions, and here's the time. Because then we can sort of saying them out loud to another person. It's not like we all need to like hound each other about whether we're keeping it.
But we can also check in and
gives
say,
you this
hey,
sense
how's
of-
everybody doing this week?
So while we're talking about our intentions for 2022, Kara and I thought this might be a good time to talk about what's coming up on Patreon changes. I think I have this here.
Okay, good.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Okay. So, as you guys know, right now we have 2 tiers. We have the Trash Witch level, which is where you get 2 bonus episodes a month, 1 bonus video a month, and your Trash Witch sticker. And then the $10 level is the body of a goddess level.
I'm like, wait, did I get those backwards?
And then for that one, you get the same things. Except you also get an additional sticker, so a title sticker, and then a discount on merch and a shout out on the podcast. So if you're in the Patreon, you stay right where you are. We're going to add some things to it. So we're going to add to both of those levels. I'm going to do monthly blog posts focused on witchy spiritual stuff. It'll be a lot of like what we've just done this episode on. Rituals, guides, tarot spreads, things like that for the month. And that would also be a good time for us to check in about intentions and things like that. So we'll be adding that to both levels, as well as that's all we're adding to the Trash Witch level. For the Body of a Goddess level, you'll have those blog posts, plus you can vote on future Patreon episodes, merch ideas, that kind of thing. You'll be like a focus group member. You can get ad-free episodes, sneak peek at merch drops before they drop. And then we'll do a post where we ask for questions, and we'll do a bonus episode of the
like answering
questions and answers. Couldn't think
Q&As.
Q&As. That's good. And then this is my favorite thing: monthly iPhone wallpapers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And they'll just be like seasonal stuff, witchy stuff,
random things that we create that we think are so fun.
So we'll put those out there too that you guys can download and put on your phones. And then we're going to add a tier. Do we decide what we wanted that to be? 12 or 15? I don't know. What do you think? I think just 12. Probably.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
Okay. So then, I don't know what we're going to call it either, but we'll have to figure that out. So then we're going to add another level, but we haven't decided what to call it yet.
Naming is hard.
Where you get all of those things again. And also...
Neat in the woods, sloppy in the kitchen.
Something. We'll have to come with something. So you get everything we've mentioned so far, plus a third sticker. I think it'll be that witchy Kentucky sticker that we came up with. Because even if you're not from Kentucky, you guys know that we are. So, and all of those things, plus a monthly live chat or hangout where we discuss current things going on in true crime. So it'll be like a Zoom call or Google Hangout or whatever works for the amount of people that we have. And it will be like just whatever's going on in the news as far as true crime goes. We'll all sit and talk about it. Because I think it'd be fun because you guys, enjoy this kind of stuff as much as we do. And it'll be fun just to chat a little bit about it. So that's it. And that's all going to start in February. So February 1st, that's when those new Patreon levels will go into effect and take place. And so if you're already a member of the Patreon, you can stay where you are. You can move up a level, do whatever you like. And if you haven't joined, February would be a great time. I mean, right now is a great time, but if you want that new content,
Anytime is
jump
a
in
good
February.
time. It doesn't have to just be at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So,
We love having you there.
we really do.
We love you guys so much. Thank you for a great year.
Supporting us.
Yeah, we're excited to have another year with you guys.
Yes.
So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We love you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We needed those.